At British Motor Heritage, we're producing all the parts which make up the complete MGB body shell in the same handcrafted way as they were made in the 1960s and 70s. The press tools, the jigs and the reliance on the expertise of highly skilled individuals are all exactly as they were, only the raw material has changed, today's steel being of significantly higher quality than that used in previous decades. The wing comprises 15 quite separate and different parts, 3 recognisable outer panels, 2 inner panels, a headlamp ring, 2 filling pieces, the beading for the top of the wing and various nuts and fittings. This jigsaw puzzle of panel components comes to us at Witney in Oxfordshire from a company in Leamington which uses our original press tools. A number of weld nuts are added to the panels using a vertical spot welding machine. The operator uses a foot pedal to bring the tips together and fire a current for an automatically controlled period of time. The parts held between the tips are melted together at the point of contact. There are a number of different spot welders around the factory, each specifically designed for a particular part of the process. Each delivers a carefully monitored current to create their required welds. As the temperature can reach up to 8,000 degrees Celsius at the point of the weld, the machines are cooled by a supply of chilled water constantly circulated around the factory. The top and lower parts of the wing are now placed into the main assembly jig where they can be fixed to the main section. This time the craftsman selects a different welding machine which hangs from a pulley attached to a girder above his head and which is counterbalanced for ease of movement. Operated by a trigger, this hanging gun as it's called is used first to weld the wing top to the rear bottom. Then the front section's also welded on. The operator uses mole grips to hold the smaller filler pieces in position while they're attached. The final job carried out on the assembly jig is to add additional welds between the top and bottom sections and top and front sections. All the welds made so far have been along edges which will be out of sight when the wing's mounted on the finished vehicle. The next job is to produce a continuous line of spot welds along the join between the nose and top sections, just in front of the headlight, using the stitch welding machine. This part of the wing will be in plain sight, so it has to be done with enormous skill and great care, so it can be transformed into an invisible seam later in the process. The fourth welding technique used to construct the wing is by metal inert gas or Mig Welding. Here a thin wire runs down the middle of the torch and an electrical arc is produced between it and the panel upon which the welder works. A stream of carbon dioxide stops the metal from oxidising during the process. Under this intense heat, the wire and the pieces being joined together are completely fused. There's a careful examination to find any tiny irregularities which are delicately hammered into shape. An array of grinding discs is then used to produce a smooth finish on the surface of the MIG weld. Similar attention is given to the junction between the front and top sections until that joint can no longer be seen. More spot welding sees the internal baffle carefully set into place. The steel at the back of the front wing is now folded over using a powerful air hammer, tightly gripping the baffle to create a substantial edge. Now it's time to spot weld the headlamp ring into its position. It's back for more MIG welding now to reinforce the lines of spot welds and make sure the panels all have solid joins and that the surface is smooth and clean, and there's a final disking to clear up any last remaining imperfections. Last of all, a series of hand tools are used to complete the process. The Stick-It file has a replaceable self-adhesive strip to identify any high spots, and a panel hammer and spoon are used to flatten them out. The process takes 1 hour. The finished wing is sent to an industrial paint company where it's degreased and completely coated in an electrophoretic primer. That's to provide long-term rust protection, which can accept normal finishing primers without having first to be stripped. British Motor Heritage makes 8 different wings, each for right and left sides, applicable to all MGB and MGB GT models built across the whole period of production from 1962 to 1980, including the variants specific to the American market. Only BMH possesses the original tools, jigs and plans needed to create authentic body panels, handmade by craftsmen, preserving the best of our British motor heritage.